The Skol Purple Podcast starts now. Here's your host, Carson Schubert.
Hey, everybody. Welcome into the Skol Purple Podcast. It's Carson and Tony here with you as we are ready to discuss, Tony, a little bit about what we can expect on Sunday at the starting quarterback position for the Buffalo Bills. Well, of course, we already all know that Josh Allen could potentially be out of this game on Sunday, and he didn't practice today, Wednesday, at the time of recording this, and he is listed as day-to-day. So could he play on Sunday? Sure. Will the Bills risk him playing on Sunday? I wouldn't if I were them. And I'm not just saying that because I want the Vikings to win the game. I'm just saying that from like a long-term playoff perspective. Like, if you want your best quarterback to be there, then you should probably not play him this week, because as big of a game as this is, like in terms of a litmus test, I guess, it's not a big game in terms of division standing or in terms of conference standing, because it's a AFC NFC clash here. So it's not a conference game. So that makes it even less of a valuable game in terms of the end of the season. But obviously, as a Vikings fan, you would think you would want to maybe see Josh Allen, because I personally want to see what the Vikings can do against a top-flight quarterback. And unfortunately, we might not get that, but we might get something better, in terms of storyline, with Case Keenum getting a revenge game against the Vikings, which we're all ready for.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun matchup regardless. I'm with you, though. I think that as a Vikings fan, and I speak for most Vikings fans here, I think being at 7-1 and feeling like the league might not respect the Vikings quite as much as we'd like, it would certainly be nice to get a staple win against a team that I think most people feel is in the upper echelon of the NFL. You know, most people, I would say, view the Bills as, I don't want to necessarily say Super Bowl favorites, but certainly in the mix for, Super Bowl contenders in the AFC. So certainly if our aspirations are Super Bowl, then it's a good test, and it would be a good test to see us go up against a full-strength AFC Super Bowl team in the Bills. So, yeah, I would be disappointed if Josh Allen can't go, but you touched on this as well. The other goal for our Minnesota Vikings is to continue stacking wins. So if that means that we need to stack a win because we play Case Keenum versus Josh Allen, then certainly so be it. I just hope we take advantage. So if it's going to be Case Keenum, I think and not to take away from any of the other players in Buffalo, but I'm gonna expect a win out of the Vikings if we play Case Keenum.
Absolutely. Well, and here's the thing. The Josh Allen that we are used to seeing, we haven't seen over the last couple of weeks. Get this, Tony, and you will have some statistics for me as well, but he has thrown a total of 2 touchdown passes over the last 2 games and 4 interceptions. He's also been sacked a total of 7 times over the last 2 games, and his passer rating has been under 80 in both of those games as well. Now, granted, against the Jets, he did run 9 times for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns, so his QBR was a little higher. But the statistics the last couple of weeks for Josh Allen have not been normal for what we've been seeing from him throughout most of this season.
Yeah. Well, and then the other aspect of it is, too, don't forget the Minneapolis Miracle coming back. So not only do we have Case Keenum,
the true comeback game.
Absolutely. So I just think that there's a lot of great storylines to play in this game, no matter what happens. The Bills have shown that they're human. I mean, they are human. I think we've seen that from a lot of the kind of top-tier teams, quote-unquote, in the league. I certainly think Philly looked a bit more human than we expected on Thursday night last week against Houston, and I think we can say the same with Buffalo. So I'm certainly expecting to see the Vikings come out and play hard. The only thing that worries me is that if we see the same Vikings team that came out and played flat for 3 quarters against Washington this last week, I don't think that's going to equal the win against Buffalo. Even a Case Keenum-led Buffalo Bills team, I think, is still too good for a flat Vikings team that only essentially shows up for one quarter. So definitely looking for us to come out hot. I think we have a chance. Boy, am I excited about Sunday.
Yeah, so you already kind of mentioned, Tony, that you think that we should expect to win if Case Keenum is the starter, which I agree with you on. However, we've seen the Vikings struggle against some not great quarterbacks this season defensively, but then again, we saw them do pretty well against Taylor Heineke, which, considering that, we had the big ref brigade on Sunday with him getting in the way. Take that touchdown away, and the Vikings probably gave up right around 100 yards passing to Taylor Heineke on Sunday. Got to him a bunch in the game as well. Got some sacks. Danielle Hunter, comeback game, whatever. But it seems like the Vikings defense, at least for that game, played better, and maybe part of it is Washington and Taylor Heineke and their offense is maybe not that good, but that was at least a positive sign. So maybe the Vikings defense can grow from that and show that they are a better defense than what we've previously seen against a very good Buffalo offense. Even without Josh Allen, I think they'll be a pretty good offense with Stephon Diggs, with Gabe Davis, with Dawson Knox, with some of those other guys in the backfield. You got Cook, you got Dalvin's brother, another storyline there for you. So all the storylines in this game, absolutely insane. And I'm here for it. I just don't know if the Vikings can beat the Bills if Josh Allen plays. But I will say this, if he plays and he's not 100%, I could see the Vikings winning the game even then. But just because I want to see the Vikings, first of all, play a completely healthy Josh Allen. But I think the Vikings could make life really miserable for Josh Allen if he's not 100% in this game, if he decides to play, which, again, I am going to be surprised unless they are really confident that he's doing well this week. I'm going to be really surprised if the Vikings actually, or if the Bills actually rather, start Josh Allen in this game, even though it's a big game in terms of 7-1 versus 6-2.
Yeah. I mean, and it's unfortunate timing, really, for Buffalo, because they just had their bye in Week 7, so it's not like they've got a bye around the corner. I'm certain that they probably are looking ahead, going, if we drop this game against the Vikings, they've got 2 very winnable games after the Vikings. They've got Cleveland at home right after the Vikings, and then they go to Detroit. And certainly Detroit is not a formidable foe as of now anyways. So, if they wanted to give Allen another week to rest up, certainly the Vikings, and especially the Vikings defense, led by Zadarius Smith, has been certainly rolling as of late. So they may look to protect him a little bit, see what Keenum can do. The benefit to Buffalo is they are in Buffalo, so they're at home. So that's advantage Buffalo with us having to travel to them and being a bit cold and outside. So they may choose to roll the dice with Keenum to see if they can eke out a win. And at the end of the day, if they drop to I think a pretty good Vikings team, at the end of the day, they can probably make up that loss relatively quickly while giving their starting quarterback some time to heal. So I wouldn't be surprised either way. I mean, certainly it's a competitive league. But like I said, I'm really excited for it. I do think that the Vikings have shown much better defense as of late. It certainly seems like the run defense has really stepped up. At this point, I think we can say, as we pass the midpoint of the season, that really the run defense isn't too bad. They've been pretty solid so far this year. Obviously, we've had some weak spots here and there, but overall, statistically, they've been a better, more efficient part of our defense. And then on the back end, they've improved. I mean, they've improved fairly steadily. We haven't seen any major, wipeout games. And as you mentioned, without the box out by the the back end judge against Washington for Curtis Samuel, the assist there by the ref, they probably passed for even less than what they did last week. So, meaning Washington. So I think this team is in a good spot. I think the Vikings are rolling, and Buffalo may look at this game that, look, our starting quarterback's hurt. We want to make a Super Bowl run, so let's just get him some rest. Let Keenum take all the hits from Hunter and Za'Darius this weekend, and then go from there. So if we can come out with a win, boy, 8-1, it's gonna be pretty tough. I heard this the other day, and I definitely think it's true. I think the Vikings will be the first team to clinch their division in the NFL. Just given what the rest of the division looks like right now, it's not going to take too many more games if you just do the math, and that division is going to be clinched, which is just wild to think.
Yeah, who would have thought? Who would have thought? I feel like Paul Rudd right now. But anyways, that's going to do it for us for this segment. Glad that you could join us. And as always, we thank you for watching. Make sure to tune in. We'll have some more thoughts on this game coming up tomorrow, as well as on Friday. And we'll have Skol with Staggy at some point this week as well. We'll get something rolling in that department as well. Thanks for bearing with us. It's been kind of a tough week with scheduling, trying to get people on from the Buffalo side of things. And so here we are making content for you guys. Despite those struggles, here we are. So thanks for tuning in. Skol Purple Podcast. As always, Skol.